Vice President to turn it over to, so I'll turn it over to Secretary to open the nominations for President.
So open the floor for nominations for President. I'll nominate Jason Gooch.
Second that nomination.
Okay, so we would have a motion to close nominations and then vote on that. Basically the process we go through on. You move to close it?
Move to close.
Like she's in charge?
I move to close that one.
They're voting on
I
president.
couldn't hear what was even said.
We're voting to. You want
No, I'm not.
Okay, so the deal on the floor. Yeah.
We're electing officers for the school board. So we turned it over to the secretary. She opened nominations. You have nominations, then you close nominations and vote on the nomination. And then whoever the president is takes over the floor, and they open nominations for vice president and then secretary. And that's what we're doing.
I just couldn't hear what was said.
Get a second on that.
Sorry?
To
Can you get a
close.
second?
To close.
Okay, Scott.
Second to close.
Right.
Okay.
So,
Second, you need a second.
Scott.
Okay.
He seconded.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? Okay.
okay, thank you. Now we open nominations for vice president. Nominations?
I nominate Scott Miller.
Okay. Any more nominations? Okay. A motion to close nominations?
So moved.
Okay, I'll second. We have a motion and a second to close nominations. Those in favor of Scott Neville as vice president, raise your hand. Okay. Congratulations, Scott. Okay, open nomination for the secretary, position of secretary. I nominate Tammy. Any more nominations? No.
Move to close.
Okay, second. Motion by Luke to close nominations, second by Jason. Now vote for secretary. Obviously, we don't need to, but let's go ahead and do it. Those in favor? Okay, motion carries 7-0. All right, now we get past that and move on to item number 5. Mr. Schwartz.
Yeah, I'd like to introduce y'all to Ray Schwartner. He's here on behalf of the city of Garland. We're going to present us with a little bit of information related to an agreement we hope to form with them that will start this school year, the 2019-2020 school year, and carry on as we talked, maybe until there was no value or the law change. So, Mr. Schwartner, the floor is yours.
Thank you
For being here.
Glad to be here this morning. Like I said, somebody earlier, I haven't been to many school board meetings in the morning, but hopefully I'll be able to get the message across. What this whole thing's about is several years ago, municipal systems like Garland were building transmission lines outside of their city limits. And as you know, being a government entity, they don't pay ad valorem taxes. So when Garland would build a line in West Texas, the school districts there, the counties, the other people affected taxing entities got no revenue. But if an investor-owned utility like Entergy or Brazos or somebody else built that transmission line, they would receive ad valorem taxes. So there was a concern on my part, who I was manager of Garland Power Line at the time, that if we continue to do that, there's going to be a growing concern that the local entities will not want a municipal owned system to come in because they're not going to benefit the local community. So 2 sessions ago in 2015, I helped write a bill and got it passed whereby the cities could make payment in lieu of taxes, not an ad valorem tax, but payment in lieu of taxes equal to, it's not really equal to, the same as if they were subject to ad valorem taxes. And I think you have a copy of that bill maybe in your package, Senate Bill 776. And that was the basis for going forward for transmission lines that qualified. It doesn't go back on a go-forward basis. So Garland, the city of Garland participated in building a transmission line from Limestone County, or not Limestone power plant in Leon County to Gibbons Creek power plant. And that particular line has a significant impact on your school district. Significant amount of money. If you look at the ad valorem, taxes paid last year, and assume that you're gonna get something the same as what was received, is a significant amount of money. Though what's required in that is we have to have an agreement with each taxing entity. And that's what I'm here today, is to try to convince you that it would be a good thing to sign this agreement, so that what it does, it protects Garland on one side. It says that if the law changes or somehow it's disallowed, that we're not able to collect the money we pay into this program through our transmission rates, then we have the right to stop making the payments. We can't subject the citizens of Garland to some ongoing payment that we can't collect. But as long as the law doesn't change, as long as there's nothing there, this payment would continue. The second thing is what's required with the law, and we file these with the Public Utility Commission at the time we file for a rate case. So without the agreement, we don't have a program, and it is a voluntary program. If y'all don't want the money, and if we don't want to make an offering, then we didn't have to do anything. But we thought this was the right thing to do. The payment should continue as long as there is no change in law, and it would be based upon, again, the county. I think y'all have Grimes County doing the appraisals. They would basically do the appraisal each year, and as long as there's no real difference between our appraisal and the other owners of this particular line, then we should be in good shape as well. We do have the right to complain, or not complain, enter into a question about whether or not the appraisal is correct. And the main reason is, like I said, because of the law says we would pay the same as. We want to make sure somehow we get an appraisal value 3 times higher than someone who owns the section right next to us. So we have some protections there in the agreement, and for those kind of things. But other than that, I just mainly want to see what your questions are and what I can do to help facilitate getting this done. I will tell you, we've already gotten approval with all the school districts, except this is our first meeting with y'all, but the others have all approved it. All the counties have approved it, and one of the SDs and another one today will approve it, which will be all the parties that are participating.
So there's no contract term, like say
No,
the
ma'am,
period
it's
is for 3 years. or
really
5 years.
evergreen unless one of the triggers that's in there occurs
Okay.
And I was telling Scott earlier that if there was something going on, it would take a change in law, obviously.
Sure.
But if someone was out trying to change the law, we'd probably notice everybody, hey, we might want to get involved in protecting this program. But it's pretty new, and in fact, this is the first one of its kind to ever be done. First transmission line to get a pilot payment program set up.
I think we talked about last time what we're estimating it to be, is that, or did we not know?
Yeah, we do know. This last year, the line was, well, the payment was $110,000. So I don't know what the appraisal value was. Mr. Schwartz shared with me this morning that the appraisal value is coming in at least the same.
It's the same in
It's the
Grimes
same.
County. They
So-
told me the other day that valuations would be the same.
Essentially, what this agreement would allow is, instead of the city of Garland paying their taxes to the Grimes County Appraisal District, they would just make their payment to us. I don't know what kind of agreement we ever had with TMPA, but that's what it would look like, is we'd have that money coming through what we would call local revenue instead of our local tax.
Yeah, it's not a tax.
No.
We need to be real clear. It is not a tax. You can call it a rent or a lease, or you call it whatever you want to, but it's not, don't ever call it a tax.
Yes. I don't know if that made sense to everyone.
And would any notification of any type, like, would it be like something in the newspaper, or would it be, I guess maybe in case the school or gets calls on questions of any type, so is there going to be any type of public announcement or anything? Okay.
Now, the requirements that are in your package under PURA, which is what regulates utilities, the only requirement is we file this agreement with PUC, and they don't have to approve it. There's no requirement. It's just filed.
Okay.
And so there's no notice requirement for that kind of filing.
I didn't see, but does it say in here what time of the year it's paid?
Well, they're trying to time it, when you get your appraisal, they get the appraisal things out, and
I believe it said January.
it
I believe
should be
it's in
around
January.
January. We couldn't do it, actually, last year, Cross Texas Transmission paid this amount, and we reimbursed them because they built our hat for us, but we didn't get everything transferred over into Garland's name until, I think it was January, and they usually come out in November. Or you have to have all the transfers done. We didn't have it done in time, but now the property that Garland owns is all there in their name.
The statement that was received showed November, and I think they paid in December. So December, January is when we'd be looking at it for us.
And we pay directly, again, we're directly to the tax entity by law. So we don't pay the county and then they send you a check. We have to pay directly. Again, it's not a tax, so we don't want to confuse it with being a tax, although it should be, so timing should be similar to that.
Any other questions?
And I recommend the Board of Trustees approve the agreement for pilot program with the City of Garland.
I make a motion that we approve the pilot agreement with the City of Garland.
Second for that motion.
Okay, motion and second. Those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 6.
Consent agenda, I didn't have any questions. Mr. Swarner, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
So,
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions or anything comes up, let me know.
Yes, sir.
You
Oh,
have
yes, we
your-
do. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Recommend the board approve the consent agenda as presented.
So,
Motion by Tammy, I'll second. Those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 7, Superintendent.
Superintendent report, I have just a little handout here. You'll take one and pass the rest down. One of the things I just wanted to mention to you, as we're moving forward with our budget for next year and in the future, there were two things that House Bill 3 has changed for us. That little top portion there that has the percentages, it gives you September 1, 2019, state contribution, and then public education employer contribution rate. As you know, as we've worked through this last year, we paid 1.5% into TRS. And House Bill 3, you can see how that's going to change over the next couple of years. So the school year 2021, the district will be required to pay 1.6, then 1.7, 1.8, 1.9, until we get to 2% down in the year of the school year of 2023-24. Just so you're aware that that's coming, letting you guys know that. Again, this year we'll still be at the 1.5%, but I know that's something we want to keep our eyes on as we talk about pay raises as well. That's required through House Bill 3. And the second portion down there, I think I've shared this with you guys, but if not, this is something else we've got to keep in mind as we continue to talk about future budgets. I think most people knew, but I put it in there for you. Our M&O tax rate, since I've been here, since I can remember, was $1.04. House Bill 3 compresses that tax rate to 97 cents this year. And we've already talked about that in one of our budget workshops, but I want you to be aware of in 2021, it's compressed again to 9665, and then in 21-22, it's 9532. So again, we're going to be giving more to teachers, and we're going to be compressing our local M&O tax rate. Something we've got to keep in mind as we continue the budgeting process. Speaking of the budget process, I emailed you guys last week. I didn't hear back, so I'm hoping that we can schedule our next budget workshop for August 1st at 8:30. That's a Thursday. We're going to call it a budget and accountability workshop. So we're going to talk about our scores that we're still looking at from this past year, and we're going to talk about our budget. And that's when we'll try to kind of tie down what our pay scale will look like for this school year. I think many of you know that the state has issued a new minimum teacher salary scale, and from steps 7 on, it is significantly different than ours. So that's something we'll have to work as a team of 8 together to see how we're going to accommodate that. The only other things we have head football coach interviews. As of right now, we have 4 this afternoon, and I think we're up to 5 tomorrow. So we're talking about 9 applicants so far, and I'll keep you guys updated on that process. I'll be out of the office Wednesday. I have a training at Region 6 Service Center. The gentleman that creates the state funding template for the entire state, his first name is Omar. He may be like Prince, he may only have one name. I don't know. I've always heard just Omar. But he's doing this presentation, so I can't miss it. This is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Maybe I'll get some answers or some questions answered, but that's where I'll be Thursday, and I think that's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Item number 8, consideration of approval resolution for the interlocal agreement with Region 6 Service Center.
This is just an agreement. It's with Epic 6, which is another purchasing co-op. You know, I've been talking to you guys about Byboard that gives us purchasing opportunities and cheaper rates, cheaper costs. This one is specifically through the Region 6 Service Center. It's free. It doesn't cost us anything. And essentially what this purchasing co-op would do for us, kind of allows small districts like us to get the same rates that larger districts do when they buy bulk stuff, if that makes sense. So sometimes you buy a high number of computers, you get them at a cheaper rate. And we're not buying as many as College Station or Bryan or Huntsville, but through this co-op we're supposed to be getting the same rate as the bigger district. And then one of the things when it comes to the auditing process, this is helpful because all the companies that are in the Epic 6 system have already been, they've been screened already. So that's not an issue if we use one of them. Just recommend that we approve the resolution interlocal agreement with the Region 6 Service Center for the Epic 6 purchasing co-op.
Recommend we approve it.
Okay, motion by Carolyn,
Second.
second by Tammy. Those in favor, any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Okay, motion carries 7-0. Item number 9, TASB localized policy manual update.
We have update 113. It is one of those things we do to make sure we stay in compliance. When we get these updates from TASB, what they are is TASB has gone through and looked at all your policies, legal and local, and they've either added policies, they've deleted policies, or they move them. So they'll take a policy from one area and move it to another, saying that it's more applicable under this code. This one, just a few highlights to me that I need to go through and read a little bit more on is food services management was in there, school property disposal, was in there, and special ed video and audio monitoring. So those 3 things in this update, I will go learn more about and keep you guys apprised of what's going on there. But I just recommend that we accept the TASB policy update 113.
Motion by Tammy, second by Luke. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries 7-0. And item 10.
Just recommend that we set a date to discuss the preliminary budget and set a proposed tax rate. So I'd like us to set a meeting for Tuesday, August 13th to discuss the preliminary budget, set a proposed tax rate, and then set a called meeting for 6:30 Tuesday, August 27th. So we'll hold the public hearing to discuss the budget and proposed tax rate. Along with that, that means our August 19th meeting, so that we don't have 3 meetings in August. I'd like to move the regularly scheduled August 19th meeting to follow the August 27th, if that all makes sense. In other words, I'm asking if we can have a board meeting August 13th and August 27th. And this will create the timeline legally set forth to propose a tax rate. It's posted in the media, and then we'll come back and approve it.
Okay, make a motion to set the meetings on August 13th and 27th as presented.
I second.
Second by Carolyn. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 11.
Personnel, you see in your board packet, we have resignations from Coach Fricky, Ms. York, Coach Cunningham, Coach Ross, and Ms. Bradisich. And we have offered contracts to Virginia Beard, who's coming to us from Iola ISD. She'll be taking the place of Coach Fricky. We've offered a contract to Lindy Pessel. We're excited about her coming back to the district. She's going to take the place of Ms. York and be our elementary reading interventionist. We're excited that she's bringing her kids back with her too, so I think that says a lot for us. Karen Knox is going to be teaching 7th and 8th grade ELA. She's taking the place of Ms. Bradisich, but then you see Ms. Bradisich is down in the other column as well. So probably mid-spring, Ms. Bradisich had come to me talking about, she was thinking might want to change, was looking at wanting to do something different besides 7th and 8th grade ELA. One of the things we needed to do as a district is make sure that we have, that we're offering all the appropriate services to our students with dyslexia. So that change, what she was requesting, kind of fit what we were looking for. So she's on here for employment, and that is a half-day position. So she'll be here, and we have to look at the schedule when it's best to pull those kids, but it'll either be for the morning or the afternoon, but it'll be a half-paid position. She's excited about that. We're excited about that. So just so you know what's going on there, we make sure we're meeting the needs of our kids with dyslexia. The way we did it this last year was through our reading interventionist. And so she was not having enough time to meet the needs of the kids with dyslexia and pull our kids for intervention. So we needed to add this position, and this will work out well for us. And Ms. Bradsich's been doing a good job for us in 7th and 8th grade ELA. So
We don't have to take action on that, because we gave him authority to hire.
that's our updates about personnel.
Okay. And now we need a closed session?
Yes, just
Okay.
shortly.
We're going to go to closed session under section 551076, that's school safety.
Yes, sir.